In this video, I'm going to be talking about small bay industrial. In my opinion, one of the most overlooked asset classes in commercial real estate. It is a supply constraint asset class in which there's a lot of demand and the tenants aren't going anywhere. So I'm going to dive a little bit into this asset class and tell you guys why I'm going to be buying it coming into 2026 and 2027 year. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Matthew. I'm a commercial real estate investor based out of Southern California, and I buy commercial property all over the country. So why small bay industrial? Why that specific asset class? It's less known in the commercial real estate industry, so there's not too much competition in that asset class going on. A lot of it is the industrial real estate asset class is mostly large bay, and that's really because my first point here is that when it comes time to develop, if you're a developer from their perspective, it usually makes more sense to build what we call large bay industrial, 25, 50,000, 100,000, sometimes up to 1 million square foot warehouses, single tenants, where they come in and they take the whole space. Now, small bay industrial, also commonly referred to as flex, their warehouses just the same, but they're smaller units. So they might be up from 1,000, maybe even 5,000, 10,000 square foot, multi-unit industrial warehouse. It's not dissimilar. It is an industrial building, but it's split into several units, typically with a dock door in the front and a dock door in the back. Very commonly, a office space in the front where people will do office work and product will be, either created or shipped out through the back of the building. There's not a lot of these asset classes. So because there's not a lot of these asset classes, tenants don't really have a choice. There's not a whole bunch of options for them. It's really because the market is so constrained, that gives us as landlords, that gives us pricing power where we can go in and we can choose the market rate. And it also means that tenants are in a weaker position when we negotiate because we're one of few options, which is why you see rates in small bay industrial tend to be much higher than large bay industrial real estate. On a price per square foot basis, you're paying a lot more on that flex space. Next is the type of tenants that live in this industrial space. These are your plumbers, your contractors, your e-commerce businesses. These are your small manufacturing where they make, for example, one of the tenants you see a lot, someone that makes shirts for the local high school, or a plumber that fills up his truck and has extra parts and materials that he keeps in this warehouse, backs his truck in the morning, fills it up, and then drives away and goes on his route for different plumbing calls. So those are the type of tenants that you see. And these are pretty resistant to this type of thing. You don't really see them going anywhere. They're Amazon proof. They're not going anywhere. The next point I'd like to mention is, and this is applicable with all commercial real estate, is you can force appreciation. Appreciation is based on a net operating income. So you can go in there and take the rents to market. Let's say the rents haven't been are, 40, 50, 60% below market sometimes. You can go in, take the rents to market. Some tenants may leave because, they're the only way they've been able to survive is through, extremely low rents. What you do is you clean the building up where necessary, you bring the tenants up to market, and now the building's worth significantly more because your NOI is higher, you're collecting more rents, so your building is worth more. So just like with all commercial buildings, you typically see triple net leases. They're a little bit shorter than retail. You see on the 3 to 5 year period, which can also be seen in retail, but you don't see a lot of the 10, 15 year until you go into the larger bay industrial. And then you have those rent bumps that you see in commercial real estate, which is nice, so that your NOI is slowly going up over time. And as, like I mentioned earlier, as the NOI goes up, the value of the building also goes up. So over time, with those 3% increases, you're confident that the asset will continue to grow year over year. A lot of these are what we call infill. Infill means they're surrounded by homes and other businesses. They're not, sometimes you see industrial buildings way out deep in the boonies. Infill is the opposite of that. They're surrounded by homes, and the more infill a property is, the more desirable it is to tenants. Because if you're a plumber, you want to be close to the homes that you're contracted out to go work for. So being infill is a premium compared to being, further out where, business owners may have to drive longer distance to visit their customers and ship their product. And these infill locations are irreplaceable. It's extremely difficult to get industrial zoned where there are other homes and businesses. It just makes it much more difficult. So the fact that it's already there and exists is a moat that you can get in, and now you own an asset that exists that is already zoned properly for small bay industry. And then again, you have triple net lease, which are literally the best part of commercial real estate. They're responsible for everything inside their box. You might be responsible for roof and parking lot. What I like to do is get those addressed right off the bat, clean up the roof, clean up the parking lot. So it's great for the tenants, clean up landscaping, and then convert those tenants. One of the easiest ways to add value with this type of asset class is converting gross leases to triple net leases. So let's say a tenant is paying $3,000 a month. I come in, I buy the building. I'm like, hey, insurance has really jumped. Property taxes, they're reassessing it. I need you to help pay for the property taxes, the insurance, the maintenance of the area, the exterior lights. These are things you're using. You're using the exterior lights, not me. So I'll use that as a way to convert them to triple net. So his rent's going to go from, let's say, 3,000 to 3,700, because that's 700 extra we collect is to help pay for the building's expenses. Just by doing that, we're increasing the net operating income of the building. We're taking that expense off the landlord, pushing it to the tenant. As a result, the net income goes up. Put a cap rate on that, and you have a value for the building. It's quite simple. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to convert triple net gross leases to triple net and start collecting a little bit extra from the tenants to help you offset the expenses of owning the building. And nationwide, you're seeing these things play out. I mean, we're talking about 40% rent growth since 2020. So from 2020 to 2026, this asset class has seen 40% rent growth. So rents are jumping, and a lot of these buildings, they haven't marked them to market. It means the rents are still way below market because, let's say, the landlord is worried about the tenant leaving. Maybe it's an inexperienced landlord, maybe it's an inherited asset, so they're not as involved as they should be. So you see a lot of these buildings sit with gross leases where the landlord's paying all the expenses and significantly below market. So these are a great asset class. Just pick them up, clean them up, convert the leases to triple net, take the rents to market. Now you have an asset that's worth significantly more. Keep it, refi, sell it, do whatever you want. You have equity now to play with. So that's really the why I am bullish on small bay industrial and why I think you should be too. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have if want to continue the conversation or want to keep chatting about it, check out the description below. You can see join us in the school community where we talk deals and we go into more details about specific assets we're buying and questions that we have while running our portfolio. Anyway, again, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys on